Welcome to The Turnover. The format is simple. Take 3 Multifamily Media Network hosts with a maintenance background and put them together. The twist is that, like maintenance in the apartment industry, they have to respond to the unknown. You see, 2 of the hosts don't know what the topic is. The fun part is there's no limit and you get to listen in. So what ideas are we turning today?
Okay.
Awesome.
I'm going to flag this. This is awesome. All right. Mark?
Yes, go.
Okay, we'll start. Some podcasts start with cold opens. I get it because it makes things go a little bit easier, but that's not how we do it here at The Turnover. At The Turnover, we go right in. We just start talking. There's no warm up. There's no banter. You got a job to do, and our job is to turn over a question. Welcome back
that's
to
normal.
another.
We're maintenance guys. You get the work order, go. What the heck are you doing standing here? We're done.
Faster. Definitely not
Exactly.
cheaper. Definitely not better. Definitely not better.
I believe in us. I think we're getting better now. I believe in us.
Once we do about 800 of these, I'm sure we'll be better. What do they say? You're the stats guy, Paul. You're always talking about repetition. So let's just jump right in. Welcome back to another episode of The Turnover with my dear friends, Paul Rhodes and Mark Sharp. I am your host for this episode, Chris Caramonica. And boys, we've done this once before. Let's just say as recently as within the last hour or so. And
Weeks
I'm sorry, did I
ago.
pull back the curtain? It was weeks ago. It was weeks ago.
That's correct.
That's right. Weeks ago. We have been getting questions from our illustrious audience, and thank you all for listening and taking part. And the questions we are getting are great. I have 3 questions loaded up, ready to go, and we are going to spin the wheel again, boys.
Hey, Chris, would you turn the turn wheel?
Oh, wow. That was a stretch. Mark, can you edit that out in post, please? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
Where's your sound machine, Chris?
And the winner is question number 1.
I like it.
Let's honestly, I will say this again. I have no idea who these questions are from. I have not heard the questions. This is truly random. This is truly live. So here we go.
Surprise. It's me. I have a question for us. At various times throughout our careers, we've each been an advocate and a speaker for balanced mental health. We're also believers in the statement that it's your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude. With both of those in mind, my question for us all this episode is, what do you do when you find yourself either down or heavily stressed and withdrawn or just down in the dumps? What do you do as a strategy to make a change for your attitude?
Wow. Okay.
No, we could submit our own questions.
That's a hell of a cheat code, Paul, to getting out of talking about. Let's talk about that for a second.
Is mental health month.
It is.
May is Mental Health Month. We are closing out. At the time of recording this, we are actually closing out May. Yeah, that was a cheat, and I'm mad at you, but let's go ahead and let's turn over your question. Mark, do you want to start? Because he's not allowed to talk now because he asked the question. He's getting in permanent mute. He can't answer his own question. That's I'm going to call shenanigans, but you go first.
Yeah, sure. So I think one of the most important things, having taught several mental health sessions now, one of the most important things I'm going to say maintenance individual because I'm a maintenance individual and a lot of the things I tend to put together are geared towards maintenance, but you have to have a coping strategy. And we also talked in previous weeks about play, whether that's play in our jobs, whether that's in training and our company's responsibility to provide that or to allow that or to whatever it is. And we have to have coping strategies when it comes to our mental health, our sanity, when we have that moment of I'm almost there. I got to do something. So for me, here recently, I've rekindled my love for the game of disc golf because it allows me to get out and walk. It's a good walk, it's exercise, but it also lets me throw something really hard at as many trees as I can possibly hit.
Yeah.
But it allows me that opportunity to just get out. And to me, that's play. To me, that's my form of coping strategy, or one of my coping strategies. And I've also developed a habit of stretching because you have a lot of tension build up. And even in this recording, you might see me like doing this a lot because I find myself getting tense and stop. So to the listeners or watchers, just know that it's a thing, but got to get this tension of you. And so I don't know if that's where you were asking your question, Paul, specifically what you were, the direction this was going to go. But for me, again, having learned what I learned about mental health for the sessions and doing the research, I found where I was lacking in my own mental health game and just put some things into play there for me. And I make play, my form of play, a priority for my mental health, for sure.
Nice. Chris?
Wait, aren't I hosting this episode? Now I'm confused. Are you hosting? Am I hosting?
Doesn't matter.
I think I have a lot of different coping strategies. I'm not ashamed to say that there are times where I'm overly stressed out, where I just can't do it anymore, where I've spent too much time on the phone, like checking emails constantly or constantly on phone calls. I'm not embarrassed about that. I'm also not embarrassed about my coping strategies. My coping strategies are I like to do housework. I'm not going to lie.
Wow.
For me, it's a task that needs to get done. I can see a beginning, middle, and an end. Whereas sometimes with our work environments, we always don't get to see a beginning, middle, and end, or it's so long and protracted, right? When I put on a load of laundry, I can go and do the dishes. I could cook dinner. I can take the laundry out and then fold it. That task is done. And I've also done several other things while I was waiting for X. That's my around the house stuff, whether it's gardening. Fun, I do like to play. I'm minutes away. If we ever stop talking, I'm going to head to the beach where 4 months out of the year, it is my happy place. And yes, I know beach season is typically only 2 months or 3 months, depending on where you live. But on the East Coast, it's typically 2. You usually get July and August, but I have the benefits of living on the Jersey Shore. And our beach season starts Memorial Day and ends around Halloween. We have no problem. We call it local summer from Labor Day to Paul. I know it's probably something similar down in Georgia. So I do that. But to flip the script a little bit, it's Paul, I don't think your question it was geared towards us and one of our coping strategies, but I want to flip it to what are we doing for our team members who may be having a hard time? We are coming off Mental Health Awareness Week. I was privileged enough to do a podcast with the National Apartment Association on mental health, doing a session at Apartmentalize on mental health. And it's a callback to some things that we've talked about previously is ask, right? Is asking your team members, what do they like to do after a stressful situation? You had a busy turn season. We're coming into a busy turn season, right? What do they like to do to decompress? Is it go bowling? Is it watch their kids' baseball game? Is it fishing? Is it sitting on a beach? And work those coping strategies into either their work life or being respectful of them when they're not at work to allow them to do those coping strategies. I'm an introvert. I know it's hard to. We've talked about this before. I like to sit in the corner and I work with people who understand, you two included, when I need to have alone time and it's a little too much, but it's knowing what your team members' triggers are and what they need to cope and helping them to cope, whether that's in a difficult situation, a difficult resident, whatever's going on in their personal life, is ask what they need and then help provide what they need.
Those are the exact reason for this question. And I recognize this is a little bit shorter. Chris, key up the wheel and we'll do it again here momentarily. The genesis of the question is exactly what you guys did. We are as we're recording this in May, this is Mental Health Month. And I spent a lot of time reflecting. And yes, there is the generic. You have to have a coping mechanism. But I thought it would be interesting for us to give ours what we do. In my case, my coping mechanism has a lot to do with music. If I need a quick, sudden pick-me-up to where if I notice that I am lagging in whatever reason, I couldn't even tell you what the words mean. But for some reason, AC/DC's Thunderstruck, whenever it comes on, that is
just listening to it yesterday.
My attitude is an instant shift. And like I said, I don't even know the lyrics. It's something to do with the music. If I need a longer term pick-me-up, there's one song that is an hour and 8 minutes long by one of my favoriteest bands, Transatlantic.
I was going to say Fish, because they're the only band that I know that does songs that are that long.
Fish has a little bit of connotation for the mental altering thing that I'm not particularly a fan of. But in this case, the song is called The Whirlwind. And it's an allegorical song about the fact that when we go through trouble, when bad things happen, good stuff can come out of it.
Love it.
And the music is amazing and it's wonderful. And those two songs are my coping mechanism based on where I'm at or what it is or whatever it is that's happening. So that was really the genesis of the question, is I wanted us to give suggestions and maybe peel back that curtain on what works for each of us. So Chris, take it back over as the host. Let's do another one.
So we are doing our first ever 2-question episode of The Turnover, and let's just do it. Let's just go.
And you were here.
So here we are. We have 2 questions left on our wheel, and we are going to go ahead and spin the wheel. Question number 4. Again, I have no idea what's about to happen. I'm intrigued. I'm excited. I'm elated.
I'm terrified.
Hi.
Oh.
This is Eugene Silverstein, and I have a pressing question. Given that you work in a large number of individual dwelling units, I'm hoping that you'll be able to address this issue for me, as it's resulted in many sleepless nights. It has become such an issue for me that I resorted to pulling a copy of U.S. Patent Number 465,588, dating back to December 22nd, 91. I needed to reference this patent to settle an argument that I've been having with many people who claim to be really smart. Much to my chagrin, the issue is still pressing, even though I have the patent in my hand. Here goes. According to this patent, toilet paper rolls are to be positioned so that the paper unrolls over the top, away from the wall. All too often, when visiting friends or going out to clubs and restaurants, the paper is positioned so that it unrolls over the top toward the wall. This is so unnerving that on many occasions, I've taken the liberty to actually correct the position of the toilet paper roll myself. Being that you're in so many apartments, have you witnessed this blatant disregard for toilet paper roll mounting? And more importantly, do you correct the situation, or do you simply let sleeping dogs lie? Thanks for your time.
Eugene. This is what I love. I want these questions. These are the questions. Let's forget about retaining employees. Let's forget about AI.
Let's talk about the bottom
of the toilet paper roll. So before we dive in, okay, we're gonna each simply ask Eugene's question, which has totally made my day. We were just talking about mental health coping mechanisms, and now we are talking about over or under with your toilet paper rolls. So, real quick, no explanation. Paul, over or under?
Depends on the day.
Oh, see, I knew he was going to get some BS answer from Paul. You're in the corner now. You can't talk you've totally derailed my episode. I am going to hold this against you in the future. We are no longer friends. We are officially in a fight. Mark, over or under?
Over, always.
What? I don't understand. I am under. It needs to go up against the wall. There's so many reasons for it. I don't understand. Paul, would you like to settle the over or under debate? I don't care what the patent says. Patent 4,975,362. Thank you, Eugene. Okay, quote me on that. Paul got the patent number wrong. I got it right. Over or under?
The reason why I say it depends on the day.
Oh, here we go.
Back at the 80s child. Look, it was originally told to me of how do you like your toilet paper? New Wave or mullet? Because that's the difference between them. But the reason being is if you are eating an appropriate high fiber diet, when you use toilet paper for the intended consequence, you only need a few sheets in order to do it. So that means over is easier. However, if your fiber diet has been lacking for a while and you happen to need more, if you're going with the mullet in Chris's preferred way, you can grab the bottom of that, and if you yank it out, you can empty the entire roll. You can't do that if it's over. If it's over, you are limited in the amount that you pull. So, therefore, my answer is conditional. If you have to ask me, if I have to commit to an answer, it is over and a high fiber diet. So, Mark, you and me, that's it right there.
All right.
No, I will. It doesn't matter where I am, where I go. If I walk into a bathroom and I see it backwards, I flip it around. Don't tell. I just flip it.
Then I think it leads to a follow-up question. What if it's mounted sideways? Are you a right-hand pull or a left-hand pull?
Oh, yes. We're just going to have Eugene. I think you need to go to the patent office in Washington, D.C. I need you to pull that for your next question. But in all seriousness, sometimes we don't have the right answer here on the turnover. But I am going to tell you, I'm not going to show my screen because
the right answer. The right answer. We have the right answer, Chris.
See, you two, you're so quick to think that I am going to pick more fights with you two, right? That I am actually going to settle this for the entire world. Yes, we've gone with the patent. Eugene showed us the photo where it was the comb over as opposed to the mullet. I'm not going to show my screen because I'm not giving free advertising, but I did Google, Lord Google, as Mr. Rhodes would say. And I will say that I Googled who was the largest manufacturer of toilet paper in the US. Feel free to Google that. Again, not going to say their name, not giving them free advertising. And in every single one of their photos, it is comb over.
I'm going to say that's fake news. I think that's fake news. I really do. It's actually, no, wait, I just, their marketing. How much of their marketing is artificial intelligence? How much of their marketing is AI? And then that's a part of the AI to take over the world strategy. Is they're going to put the toilet paper the wrong way to cause more mental anguish so that we have challenges. To bring it all back together.
I'm going to challenge our audience. Please write in the comments, over or under, mullet or comb over, even though we have settled and turned over this question way more than we should have on this episode of The Turnover.
Thanks, Eugene.
But thank you, Eugene, for your question. We are solving the world's and maintenance problems one episode at a time. So thank you for joining us. If you have a serious question like our friend
not
Eugene,
serious.
I thought Eugene's question was very serious. There are husbands and wives that are going to be showing this to their spouse and say, the three experts in multifamily maintenance, Chris, Paul, and Mark, say, I am a believer now that it is over. I have seen the proof and I have seen the evidence. They're going to show this to their spouses and say, this is how our partners, and say, this is how the toilet paper needs to be from now on. Now, if you're a single person, do it however you want. But it's a good source of an argument with a spouse or a partner. Wow. Mental health and toilet paper placement. We are going to leave you with that today on this episode of The Turnover. Please come back. Please come back and watch future episodes. They may be as serious or as ridiculous as this one. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah. Bye. Now it's your opportunity to respond and let us know what we missed. If there's any topics of conversation you'd like us to turn over, head over to MultifamilyMediaNetwork.com and leave us a message.